Okay, so here we are playing a 100-point game of X-Wing, and we had the VT-49 and a couple of Academy. He had the Z-90 and a Y-Wing. So this is what we were deployment, and this was how we decided to do things going forward. We did a lot of mistakes, but hey, it's first war. So I flipped the camera around here so that you all could see where I was coming from and his angle. Try to go back and forth a little bit, but it is raw uncut footage. So the first one goes forward and focuses, and then this guy goes to the right. And I realized that a couple of turns here, I got kind of out of sequence with what was going to happen next. And I don't remember if I corrected it here or if I corrected it on the table. I think I stopped the video quite a bit so we could make sure we were doing rules right and things. So as you can see, the third one there, the Phantom takes a 2 right, and he eventually will cloak. And Adrian had mentioned to me certain things in the rules that I had missed early on, and I wasn't able to recover from, because once we had made the mistakes, okay, what do you want to do about it? And then we just fixed it on the fly. So the 49 goes 3 straight forward, and as you know, you can fly through stuff as long as you don't end your movement on a base. You can still use your actions as normal. So I target locked his Y-wing, because to me that was the more important target on the table to do. And as you can see, video passing the camera back and forth is kind of crappy, but it worked, and I was gonna edit everything down, and then every time I try to do it, it didn't work out. So he swings out, goes to his right. He takes his Y-wing and heads straight out to. One thing that we did notice in this whole thing was that we had missed a couple of activations or forgot, and came back in and tried to rectify it, as I said previously. So there's your first turn. Nothing's in range to shoot, so we kept on going. And so my second turn, when he's done putting his tokens down there, we realized, okay, well, we're not going to get much done here. So my second turn, I send the first TIE fighter out, straight out 4 again, to hopefully get in some range here. And you'll find out that as later on, range was a huge issue early on, and not so much at the end, especially when you start flying vehicles off the table. Spoiler alert. Second one takes a left and comes forward to that asteroid that may or may not play a factor in the future. He takes an evade token. I had originally thought that during this game that he was going to try and screw with me and make me crash into stuff, but I was able to fix it. The other thing here was that because I had pilots that were lower skilled, as you can see right there, I should have played this model first. He didn't have a real problem with it because I had already flipped the other token, but because his pilot skills were all higher than these 3, because the highest skill level I had was a 3, he didn't really care. Now, had that have been an issue later on, as you can see there, I'm barrel rolling with the stealth. After coming out of stealth, I barrel rolled in order to take a focus. You can't get these out of activation orders, because for example, if he had 2 that were pilots that were the same level, he could have said, no, you've already flipped it, you need to go ahead and move that model first, and that would have caused issues because it would obviously hit the back of the VT-49 decimator. And so he moved up his he moved up 2400, he moved up the Y-wing, and then he added his tokens after for focus. And I think he target locked me, if I'm not mistaken. We were target locking back and forth on a couple of different turns. The 49 decimator is just a beast on the table, and the problem with it is it sucks up a lot of points. You can, I want to say you can take the Emperor as the co-pilot, and it does a whole bunch of goofy stuff, or maybe it's Darth Vader. But anyway, either way, I didn't take anything extra. So we went to shooting here in turn 2. He's within 1, so he's going to get the extra die. He's going to go first. He's going to shoot, and he is going to roll his dice out, and he had to roll 2 hits. I rolled an evade and a focus, so I evaded both of them on that turn. So no damage there off the first one. His second pilot in a Y-wing shoots at the decimator, trying to get those shields down, and he hits twice with a focus. He target locks, so with the Y-wing he can actually re-roll it, so he gets 2 hits, and I don't get any dodge or evade rolls on this, so I went on ahead and just took 2 shields off. His target lock also expired at the end of that turn for that ship, and his next shooting, I shot him with a crit and a regular. I got to re-roll, and it was 2 crits and 2 hits. I believe he had an evade. No, he didn't have an evade on this because I thought he had an evade. He didn't, so he just took the damage and then removed the shields. So he shoots his proton rockets at me. So he burns his focus. He gets to attack us 4 times here. Yeah, that's right. It was 4 times. So he didn't get anything with 3. And the thing about it is that when we were sitting there figuring it out after, when we sat down and talked about it, he should have waited to use a proton because he burned him up too early in the game. I think it would have been better for him using a finishing move as opposed to something early on in the game. So lesson learned there for him. So I went ahead and shot him here. He took an evade. He evaded one of them, took a damage, so took a shield off of it. And so he had 4 damage points left on that, I believe on the Y-wing there. And I was shooting him with the TIE fighter, so I was not within an extra die distance, so I just shot and only hitting 1 time, but I believe he evaded it. Yeah, no, he didn't. This isn't the one that he evaded. The next one he did. So he took a shield hit, and that was that. So at the end of 2, a little bit of damage here. He took the 4 shield damage there. I lost the 2 shields. The Y-wing was down to 4 hull points, and the A-wing there, I think it's A-wing, I can't remember. I forgot. He lost 1 on that one as well, so he lost a hull point, and I lost my, my glorious target lock. So that's right. He had a special ability on this pilot, and I was looking at this, and I was like, what the hell is he rolling that for? He had a special ability that at the end of every turn, as long as it was on the table, he was allowed to roll a hit dice. On a hit, he actually recovered a whole point. So he was able to do that. So on my next turn here, turn 3, did a 4 and an immediate turnaround, or Qui-Gon turn, as it's called, or whatever the turn call is. And so I could get behind him and shoot at him, because I knew that if I didn't get behind him, he was going to shoot that TIE out of the sky, or out of the space, I should say. And that was a mistake there. Once you have a stress token, you cannot put an action token, I don't believe, on there. I think I made a mistake. I was going back through. I don't believe I can do that after I've stressed. And I did the same thing again here, and making the mistake of thinking about rolling and going that guy first because I was going left to right. And I should have gone on ahead and just did the decimator first. It's the biggest ship out there. I should have known that. And like I say, that's mistakes that are made. Lessons learned after our first. Like I say, as you can see, the camera shaking and everything else has got to be something that we got to rectify later on down the road. But it is what it is. So my last tie here takes a 3 hard right to get out of the way and get clear of the asteroid. I flew through the asteroid, so I'm going to have to take a damage point here. And I did that and missed. It just had a focus, so we were good there. I almost forgot to do that because I had forgotten that when you fly through asteroids, you do have to take the damage as to whether or not it is going to damage you or not. And you do not get to use an evade token through that. So it's either damage or no damage, and it's all in the rules. So the last ship I had to move was level 3, was the Phantom, and I can't remember. I took him to the left here, thinking that I was going to get into range of something. And I want to say that I flew probably into kind of a precarious spot. Because I thought what he was going to do was come hard left and try and avoid, because that's got a 360 arc of shooting. And so I thought he was going to come out and go to his left, and what he did instead was he went straight forward and tagged me, thus nullifying his action. So that actually worked to my advantage. And we had said when we were playing that he couldn't do anything with the ship at all, and that is in fact incorrect. I don't believe he can have an action, but I think he can still fire. And then we had gone back and looked it up and determined that no, in fact he can't shoot either. So those two ships were kind of in the same boat, which hurt him. So I had to bounce back a little bit. His last ship here goes 4 straight forward. And I don't know what he was. Later on, he told me he thought I wasn't going to go as far or turn around. He thought I was going to cut and turn in front of him. So we moved through. He was getting ready to go. He couldn't shoot, and none of his guys could do anything here. So basically, it was my shooting phase and mine all alone. So I decided that it would be a good idea at this point to try and do something, kind of cool, which turns out to be nothing. And oddly enough, the YT-24 gets a dodge die here. So I hit 3 times with a crit, and he went on ahead and used the crit with his evade thing, and so he takes 2 more shield damage here. And then we move on to the next one. So that tie, I decided I wasn't going to shoot the tie first. He couldn't shoot, obviously, as a level 1 pilot, but I shot the decimator at him. He was, thinking within 1 on this one. I thought he was at first. I don't think he is, so I let him call it. He said it was good, so we went, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Let's go ahead and roll it out. So I rolled 4 shots. He had his evade. So I hit him. And I re-rolled the focus die, which he got rid of the 1, and so he's got. Let's see. He took 2 damage, so he was down to, I believe, 3 points. So when he flipped the card, it was reduce your primary weapon value by 1. And so he took the damage point for that. It's like I say, he made the roll anyway, so it didn't do anything. So he was only down to 2 hull points left on that ship. And it also got rid of my target lock, if I remember correctly. So I decided that I was going to shoot them with the other tie. He only got 2 on the shooting. It was kind of crappy. I thought I was a little bit closer, but whatever. So I rolled it out and didn't get squat. Next up was the tie, and I was in range of hitting this guy, but he gets an extra evade die because he's at range 3. So I'm gonna get the 2. He's gonna get the extra 1 on the evade. So I was taking a gamble, obviously being down, and then he rolls, and he's got a Vocus, and that evades both of them. Nothing happened. So on to turn 4. So he's going to turn over and go to the right, or to the left, excuse me, to get rid of that stress token that he had on him. And my goal here was just to try and get shots from him, because at this point he's going to be out of. I thought he was going to. I should have done 3, and I did 2. I wasn't sure how far. I needed the green to get rid of the stress, but I think that I thought that I was going to be out of range, and you'll see that here in a couple minutes and how that actually turned out. So I freaking decided to move my other TIE fighter and bounce into my guy, so he's out, and so he couldn't do anything this turn. And then I had the Phantom go, and the Phantom was the next one because he was in level 3. and he's going to fly through and do a choreographed turn and come turn full circle. Now, the thing with the Phantom is that he can do a choreographed turn, and while he's stealthed, and still get it off and still have an action, because I thought doing that turn and getting around, I was going to be able to get some shots on, and I was going to cloak, but had I have cloaked, I wouldn't have been able to shoot at his 2400, so I decided against doing that. And then the Decimator decided I made him do a hard right, which I capped base to base, so I had to bounce back, and he doesn't get to do anything this turn for turn 4, so that was kind of a waste. It would have been better if I would have only done a 2, but I still think I would have based it, and I still think I would have hit the back of the Phantom, so he didn't get to do squat either. So there's essentially for me, only one ship could shoot this turn. So his pilots go in their movement phase and their action, and then he choreographed turned the YT 2400, which put me in a pretty bad spot, because now he's got everything in his front arc. Number one, number two, I can't do anything, so I don't get the advantage of having any kind of evades, no focus tokens, no nothing on all three ships directly in front of him. And we were looking at it, and I asked him, I had this thing to ask him there, what are you going to do with this guy? Oh, yeah, I can't do anything because I'm stressed. Oh, yeah, that's right. So his Y-Wing takes a right turn to try and get through the asteroids and the crap on the table belt. And the last ship there, he decides to take to the right. He... we thought this was going to be a problem the next turn because he went the wrong way. He meant to take it to the left, but when he flipped the dial, he realized it was to the right, and that was an issue. And you'll see why. I mean, obviously, he's not going to shoot this turn, so it didn't matter what he did. I wasn't going to be able to hit him anyway, but that ship was not going to be able to turn. So he was going to shoot, can't do nothing. The next ship was going to shoot, and he couldn't... Yeah, there was a question here on R2-D2 being able to remove damage to him, and he was able to do it both. So we were able to resolve that and move forward. He actually was able to remove a damage point, and then he focused. And the one thing I told him later on in this is that the Y-Wing needs to take the ion cannon every time you take it, for the simple fact of the matter is that thing makes it hard. If you hit with it, it makes you only move 1 inch. You can only move 1 inch every single time if you hit with that ship. So him shooting at the Decimator would have been huge had he have taken the ion cannon early on, because I wouldn't have been able to get down as far as I did. So I threw a focus token down there because we forgot our actions, and he didn't have a problem with it. And quite honestly, as a for funsies type game and just playing a couple of games played in, it wasn't really a big deal to us. So I shot. So his 2400. Let's see. Imperial goes first, but I think where I made my mistake here was saying, we were talking about it and saying, oh, well, you get to go first, but then I realized Imperial goes first, even if it's tied. So I shot, and I did, let's see. What did I do here? Oh, yeah, I changed it. Yeah, that's right. I had a focus token on him. Even though that was incorrect, because the stress token, you cannot take an action token on the stress. And I think what happened was we assumed that I didn't have stress. We couldn't remember. We didn't go back and look at the tape, so we just kept going. So it was even dice. I think I took a shield off of him, and then his turn to shoot with his level 3. He shot at the TIE Fighter, and he had his 2 shots at him and hit him once with a crit. I do believe I missed. Yeah, I didn't get anything. Oh, wait. Okay, he did have a focus. I'm sorry. I could have swore he didn't have anything on him, but anyway. So he gets an evade. Now this ship has the ion cannon on it, and where we made the mistake is when it hit, I didn't move 1 inch. It's supposed to be 1 inch straight forward, and I didn't do that. So it could have changed the outcome of the game because the 2400 does have an ion cannon with it. We were concerned about the other one, about the Y-wing. We totally forgot about it. So on my rules to evade, we were looking through the rules trying to find a place that said I couldn't evade twice. And according to the card I had, it said I could evade more than once in the turn. So we couldn't find the rule that says I couldn't, so I did anyway. But I think that was wrong in hindsight, because I think once you've evaded, you don't get to evade twice, because he fired the ion cannon after he took his regular shooting attack, and it allowed him to, his card or something like that allowed him to do so, if I remember correctly. So there was nothing in the rules that said I couldn't evade twice, so we went on ahead and let me evade twice. If you have anything on that, please send me a contact link, or if you're on the YouTube page, go to the webpage and send me a contact email on that, because I wanted to see if I could evade twice. So okay, so at the end of the 4th phase here, he did not remove a damage. So the start of 5, he has to go forward. Actually, he's got 2 whole points left. I'm sorry. He had 2 whole points left, so we were trying to figure out what he was going to do next. He hadn't placed any tokens down on him yet. Not tokens, the movement tokens. I had already placed mine. The 2400 had 5. I believe he was totally out of shields, and I had one guy that didn't have any damage. The Decimator didn't. The VT-40, the Decimator had 12 hull points left. It had, I think, 1 shield. None of the small ships that I had any damage whatsoever on them at this point. I think that I lost the shields on the Ghost, and that's it. So I came right thinking I was going to... I came right, soft right, thinking I was going to chase his... thinking that I was going to chase him down and shoot him out of off the board. So I decided to chase him with that ship. My other TIE fighter, I made a hard right, and I wanted to put him in face-to-face with the 2400 so I can get in within 1 inch to shoot him. So I brought him... not 2, 1. And so I brought him hard right 1, put him in front, thinking, okay, I'm going to get a shot off. And I focused with him. So this time I got it right with my other ship. I moved the front ship, the smaller ship first, to get it out of the way, and I moved him. Up too, and he focuses as well. I move then the level, the Decimator. I did a soft right turn with him, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was a soft right turn. I think it was only 1, and I got him to line up in front of the 2400. The goal here, obviously, is to shoot this damn thing right off the table so that the biggest threat's out of the way, because of that ion cannon. And like I said, the ion cannon, we really didn't play that correctly. When he shot the ion cannon, I should have only been able to move 1 forward with the TIE fighter. So, at any rate, mistakes are made, and it's a learning experience, and the part of it's fun. So, he moves forward a 1, and he realized he's going to stop on the same thing. So the second straight turn, he can't do anything with this ship, and so we're going to try and shoot the crap out of it for him. His Y-wing goes hard left. Oh no, he went right. I'm sorry, he went hard right. So he's going to try. He was thinking that I was going to chase him with the other one, so he could shoot me off the table before I get a chance to shoot him off the table. So that becomes kind of a cluster to a certain extent. And I didn't have an angle on him to shoot him either, so he target locks me to get that stuff off. And he didn't realize, this is the first of the spoilers, he didn't realize that he was going the wrong way, I believe. So we thought he was flying off the board. He eventually hangs a left-hand turn. Now he's completely downrange of me, but he's going that way. So he focuses... So his level 4 shoots at me, and that is going to end, well, he's getting the extra for being within 1 inch of me. He's got already the extra die for 3. He hits twice. He changes that to a hit. So he's got 2 crits. I don't do... I took a damage point here, got rid of 2 of the crits, and then I lost my focus because I had to do that. So there's my first damage actual to the ship hull itself is on the TIE fighter. And, well, you know, hey, it was bound to happen. So that was the end of that. So then we moved to level 3s. So first ship, what we decided to do, so the first ship shoots 3 attack dice, and yeah, that's right. He was target locked, so I can re-roll anything that's not. That was what I had. That was a blank or whatever. So I shoot at him, and I hit him 3 times. And he rolls his dice, gets a focus, but it didn't have anything, so he took 3 damage there. He had 2 left, and I took... Oh, no, he had 3 left, not 2. He had 2 damage, so I had 4 shots with the Phantom. So I get, with the focus die, I get an extra 1. I'm within the 1, and I took the TIE fighter. I was trying not to use a TIE fighter here, but yeah, that didn't happen right here. Oh, I had 1 hit out of 5. So I changed the other one, used the focus, changed it to 2. And then Adrian promptly comes out here and rolls and evades 1 of them. So he had 1 whole point left, or 2. Either way, he only wound up with 1. And I just did damage point, and he kind of... Oh, that's right. He had 2. That's right. He had something that had it, so he still has his 2 points. So I couldn't finish him off, even though he was in front of me. So the TIE fighter's going to shoot at that wing there, and he's 3, so he's going to get the extra evade dice. So I shoot him. Nothing happening there. Wipes that out, so nothing in turn 5 happened. Nobody actually died, which kind of sucked. So at the top of 6, we go to the level 1. The level 1 pilot goes hard right for 1 inch, I guess. And I turned and I realized this after I did this. I thought, this is not going to work out, so I need to throw an evade token out there. And he flew through that asteroid, I thought, and then we went back and looked at it. It didn't really look like he did, but I probably should have rolled it anyway because, you know, any part of it that goes over it, we should have taken a damage, but I didn't. So the next one, the TIE fighter comes. He choreograms turns, takes a stress token, and flips around to shoot the the 2400 in the back of the ship. And so I took a focus token there in the hopes that he wouldn't move that ship very far forward. And as I said before, I don't know that you can take an evade token or a focus token. I believe we did that wrong. So he moves forward again. I moved the Phantom and turned him around and was able to just barely get behind him without tapping him. So I focused with him. He also should have taken a stress token there. And I didn't put one out there. So I like I said, this is just, it is what it is. So anyway. So I moved him forward 1, and it just hits. Just misses with the bases. I thought it just hit, but it was the ship itself that hit, but it's not. And then, so we decided that wasn't going to happen. I hit the asteroid, so I didn't take a damage. And so I had to remember from before. You're not supposed to do that, so I took him away. I couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. So we're kind of stuck on the movement. So it came out to be interesting because of the fact that how that, movement section ended. But hey, whatever. So the last one, he moves forward, and he stops right just short of getting damage. So he was real lucky there. But the next turn, he's obviously going to take a damage token. And his last... So he target locks me after he moves his forward there. The last guy takes his hard left too and is going to fly away out of the range. And he target locks the TIE fighter in front of him there, I believe. Yeah. So now I've got target locks on 2 of my guys, and I was able to take 4 evade dice because I already get 3. And the extended range gives me a 4. So there you go. Don't shoot long range at this game if you can avoid it when you have ships that already start with 3 evade dice, because mathematically, or on the 8-sided die, your chances of hitting when you only have 2 or 3 shots is going to be severely less, especially when you're adding that 1 die. I found that out a couple of times in a couple of the play games that I had done before. So he shoots. I'm sorry. He actually forgoes his shooting here, if I'm not mistaken, because he wanted to take ion missiles. So he shoots them, and you will see the roll. But I get 2 ion tokens. Now this is where the ion stuff comes into play. I should have only moved after he hits 1 inch total straight forward, no other things allowed, and I didn't. So the discussion here came up where he automatically hits even though he doesn't have to roll. Even though you're supposed to roll to hit, the card action on the card says that you're supposed to roll the dice, and even if you don't hit, you still hit, which means you hit either way. So that discussion came up, and we had gone into the tank here a little bit, trying to figure out what the hell this actually meant. So finally, we decided to say to heck with it and just let it go and let it go off. So he wants to roll for the ion token. I didn't think it mattered either way. I thought he still was able to get it, and I didn't block anything anyway, so just, whatever. Yeah, the ion token was to take him to 3 damage, not just 2. I think he blew his ship out of the sky. We went back and talked about this after. So the ion token automatically allows him to hit, gives him an extra hit, gives him 2 ion tokens, so he hits him. So he winds up shooting and killing him, and it was the one that didn't have any damage on it because of the ion token, or the ion missiles that he had, which is actually pretty effective. So, hey, it is what it is. So level 4 goes next, and since he's target locked me, he is gonna shoot me with a target lock. I think he got 5 dice or 4 dice on this. It was not, or 3 attacks. That's what it was. So he's hitting 3 times. I'm going to watch this ship. So he gets a 2nd damage point here. And moving forward, it's not looking good for the Imperials. The way that that we played, like I said, it's just some of the rules mistakes that we made and some of the questions that came up. I don't know. It is the way it is. It's the game that we just had a hard time trying to find stuff. So he had 2 hit points left on the 2400, and that was 3. He couldn't do anything with it, I don't believe, and that eliminated the ship altogether. So the 2400 is gone, which helped me out. And the ship I think was like 50 some points, so getting him wedged in between all three ships there was really not advantageous to him, but so the next one that goes, next one goes at the end of this turn, and so we redo the tokens, put everything back out there again for movement, and the first one we do is the level ones for Imperial, and watch what happens. He doesn't recover his damage point. Then I decided that it'd be a great idea to go hard to the right at 6 or 3. And I flew a portion of him off the board, and oh, see you later. He's gone and dead. Any part of the ship lands off the board, the house rule is, and I think it's in the regular rules too, that if you fly out any portion of the ship off the table, it's gone. So I went hard 3 instead of 2, which is what I should have done, taking a more liberal approach to it. Flew him off the table, and as you'll notice there, that ship, the Decimator was sitting on that asteroid. I don't think I caught it in time. So I was not able to take the damage token because I'm supposed to take damage from that, and I didn't. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, I still had 12 hull points. I would have been down to 11 if I had lost the last shield and the point. So I target lock the Y-wing, thinking that I'm going to shoot at a 360, even though I don't believe a 360 arc. Yeah, I do have it. So 3 forward for the Phantom. And I believe I was able to get rid of the stress, and he cloaked on this turn so that I can make sure that it's harder to hit him in case Adrian decided that he was going to target him for any reason. So his guys go. His Y-wing is going to go. And so he's taking a 2 to the right. Yeah, so he took a 2 to the right. I thought he was going to go left, but he took a 2 to the right. He's going to roll for his damage. And he didn't get anything. But he loses his action. So, whatever. And his last ship here goes 2 straight forward. So he has a card, Lone Wolf card here, and this card, he gets to re-roll basically one of his rolls. So he's going to go ahead and roll for Lone Wolf. He didn't have it. Didn't use it last turn. He's going to use it this turn, and so he's going to shoot at me, and it's going to get very interesting because he hits twice. Yeah, so he doesn't get the evade. So he's losing the last of his shield. Yep. So take the last 2 shields off, which I didn't think I had any, but I had 2 left. And that brings him to now he's just straight into hull points for the rest of the game. I couldn't shoot the other guy, which is what I wanted to shoot was his Y-wing, so I just shot the guy that was closest, and I shot him 3 times here. Got 1 hit, and I believe and he evades him. So that's the end of that. So he's now down to 1 hull point for that ship. That's the end of the turn. So he's rolling to get his damage back on the last one, on the Y-wing there. So he's trying to get his damage back because he's down to either 2 or 1 or whatever. He gets the point back, and he's back up to 2. So top of the what was appearing to be the last turn, I did a hard right 3 to keep him on the table. I didn't want to fly him off the table too, so I hard right 3. So he does the hard right 3, focusing the target lock. I don't believe I can do that, as I said before. I should really paid closer attention to that, and I went hard left 3 with the Phantom, who is already cloaked, so I didn't uncloak this turn. And the reason why is because I wanted to make sure I had a ship on the table should I need to go another turn and he was going to shoot at me. So, you know what? I'm sorry. I did decloak. Yep, I decloaked and went 2 straight forward because it was able to boost me forward. I don't know why I did that, though, because it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I decloaked thinking that he was going to be in my firing arc. It didn't go away. I thought it was going to go because of what happens next. And so he left. He puts it out. He goes, I flew off the board. I said, are you serious? He said, yep. He went right off the board. So my target lock went away, and at this point, we called the game for the most part. So, moving forward. And his other ship goes off right here. So at the end of the game, we started talking about it, and we made a ton of rules mistakes, as you guys can see. But it was a fun game. It did lend itself to what the hell were we thinking? He had the gray pilot for the Y-wing, and it didn't help him. He flies off the board. Like I said, the biggest mistakes that we saw throughout the game was him not understanding the cards that he had, and us not understanding how the rules worked for those cards, and then me doing the extra action even though I don't believe I could have. And in hindsight, I made that mistake on 2 or maybe 3 different ships at any one point. So future reference to note that we did do some mistakes and had, whatever. It's a fun game, so I hope you understand that it is a learning experience. So this is Paul from Tabletop Gaming. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.